What's going on, y'all? I'm Czar, a Nashville audio engineer, and in this video, I'm going to be mixing some rap vocals using some Kit plugins. Even though these plugins are digital, they have a very analog sound and feel to them, which make them go-tos for me when I'm mixing. Let's get started. So here are the plugins we'll be using. On the left, we have the N105 version 2. On the top right, we have the core compressor, and on the bottom right, we have the Burier. I'll go more into each one of these as we get to them. First, let's listen to the vocal. This is Nashville rapper Juggernaut. I've got everything bypassed.
615 Juggernaut, one half of the Equalizers. Still fresh to death, walking dead, zombie rising. I'm in my own lane, Batmobile, black Benz, I'm driving. Wet paint dripping when I'm whipping, I be vandalizing. I'm a big body in a big body, do my own thing, stuck nobody.
Okay, so we got a pretty good recorded vocal there, which is great because that means I can spend my time and energy on enhancing this vocal rather than fixing it. A few things I'm noticing here, it is a little uneven in some spots, which we'll fix that with some compression. And on the EQ side, I want to add some presence. It is a little bit under the beat, so we definitely want to push it forward, up and forward in the mix here. So starting with the N105 version 2, this is a mic pre EQ channel strip modeled after a Neve 8078 console in Blackbird Studios. And we have a mic in line mode. When you're in mic mode, you can use this mic gain to boost your signal, and you have saturation you can turn on and off. Also with the 4 bands, we also have a high pass and low pass filter here, and we can flip the phase. So let's do some presence. I'm going to add some 3.3, not on the high shelf, on the high mids here. Just do 2 dB at 3.3, and I'm going to cut 220 hertz just to clear out the low mids a little bit here. We'll take that down 2 dB. And high pass filter, I'm going to go at 82 hertz. So this is now with the vocal EQ'd.
615 Juggernaut, one half of the Equalizers. Still fresh to death, walking dead, zombie rising.
Okay, it's getting better. It's still a little under the beat, so I'm going to boost the gain with the mic gain here. I'm going to take it from 15 up to 20. And I'm also going to take off the saturation because I want to use saturation on the core compressor next. So this is now with some gain added.
615 Juggernaut, one half of the Equalizers. Still fresh to death, walking dead, zombie rising.
Okay, I like that. So that's the N105 version 2. Next, let's do some compression. So this is the core compressor, transformer model compressor. We've got a fixed 3-to-1 ratio. Both the attack and release go from 0 to 200 milliseconds. And we have a body knob here that's going to add a 250 hertz low shelf post compression, just to give the signal some more weight. And we're not using it here, but this crush button is going to change this to some fixed settings for some very aggressive compression that is great on drums. So with the core compressor, I want you to pay attention to this first phrase here.
615 Juggernaut, one half of the Equalizers.
Okay, the one half of the equalizers, second half here, the vocal dips just a little bit. Also towards the end where he says I'm a big body in a big body, that starts to dip a little bit too, and likely because maybe he's running out of breath, but the phrase just wasn't said as strong, but we're going to fix that with some compression. But listen to that part.
Wet paint dripping when I'm whipping, I be vandalizing. I'm a big body in a big body.
And here we get that little dip there. So let's add the core compressor in, and I'm boosting the output 5 dB. The more I drive this output, the more saturation I'm going to get. So that's why I didn't use saturation on the channel strip. And I'm doing maybe 4 to 5 dB of compression. I don't do a lot of compression on rap vocals because they're generally not that dynamic. And let's listen to this now with the core compressor.
615 Juggernaut, one half of the Equalizers. Still fresh to death, walking dead, zombie rising. I'm in my own lane, Batmobile, black Benz, I'm driving.
Okay, so a lot more forward in the mix now. I'm getting it to where I want it. Let's listen to that end part, the I'm a big body in a big body. Again, this is without the core compressor.
Wet paint dripping when I'm whipping, I be vandalizing. I'm a big body. body in a big body. Do my own thing, stuck nobody.
And now with the core compressor.
Wet paint dripping when I'm whipping, I be vandalizing. I'm a big body in a big body. Do my own thing, stuck nobody.
We definitely have a more even vocal there. That part doesn't dip anymore, which is great. Let's move on to the ad-libs now. For the ad-libs on the EQ, I'm now using saturation here and I'm not doing any other EQing outside of the high pass filter. I've bumped that up to 150 hertz. And on the core compressor, we have pretty much the same settings, but this time I'm adding 2 dB of body. Let's take a listen to that. Let's solo that on the ad-libs. So this is with the body.
Batmobile, black Benz, I'm driving, chill.
And without it.
Batmobile, black Benz, I'm driving, chill.
Okay, let's set that back. Also, one thing to note here on the core compressor on the ad-libs, I'm boosting more on the input because I don't want that saturation on the output, and that's because I'm using the saturation on the channel strip here. So we weren't using it on the lead vocal. And my goal here is I don't want to just copy over the same settings from the lead vocal. I want to have some contrast here between the lead vocal and the ad-lib. So we do have some different settings here to help them stand out. We're going to look at the Burier next. So on the Burier, if you click this GUI, you can change the look of it. We'll stick with the red here. This is a saturation plugin, and we've got a low cut, high cut. In the middle here, this is where you drive the saturation. And with this link on, the more you drive this, it's going to pull back the output, which is a really handy feature. And then you have your mix to go from wet to dry. So my goal with the saturation, I want to saturate this heavily to get the ad-libs a little crunchy and just a touch distorted here to make them stand out. Let's add this in.
615 juggernaut, one half of the Equalizers. Chill, still fresh to death, walking dead, zombie rising. I'm in my own lane, Batmobile, black Benz, I'm driving. Chill.
All right, so that's a little too much. Let's get it dialed in.
Dead, zombie rising. I'm in my own lane, Batmobile, black Benz, I'm driving. Chill.
All right, I like that. Let's take a listen to it. So this is solo. This is without the Burier.
Zombie rising. Batmobile, black Benz, I'm driving, chill.
And with it.
Zombie rising. Batmobile, black Benz, I'm driving, chill.
All right, and one more time in the mix. I'm going to bypass everything now. And this is with everything bypassed.
615 juggernaut, one half of the Equalizers. Chill, still fresh to death, walking dead, zombie rising. I'm in my own lane, Batmobile, black Benz, I'm driving.
And with everything on.
615 juggernaut, one half of the Equalizers. Chill, still fresh to death, walking dead, zombie rising. I'm in my own lane, Batmobile, black Benz, I'm driving. Chill.
All right, so there was a look at me mixing some rap vocals using Kit plugins. For more information, you can go to www.kitplugins.com.